chair in your background. It's so
Wow.
regal looking. It's just beautiful.
My new setup, I love it.
Oh, we're gonna have way too much fun together. Okay, so here we are. We are live. Hi,
Hi.
everybody. Hey, we're live on. So Koya, we're live on like 9 different channels right now.
Oh my goodness, how are we doing this?
It's just magic.
So
Magic,
magical.
like it just happens. Like magic just occurs. The mystery of the universe.
Abracadabra.
Exactly. So we're live across all of our Celebrate Your Life pages and groups and my personal page. And we're live on your page and we're live on YouTube. So if you're here joining us, please make sure and post a comment because we can see all the comments. So make sure and say hi to us because we'd love to welcome you. And for those of you who don't know this absolutely amazing woman sitting next to me, this is Koya Webb. And Koya is an internationally renowned life coach, spiritual teacher, guide. You also are quite the yoga extraordinaire teacher, aren't you? I know that about you. And she is the best-selling author of Let Your Fears Make You Fierce. I love that title.
And fun. Let your fears make you fierce and fun. I could have added that one because you want to have fun, right?
That's right. Well,
Yeah.
I absolutely love that because we get so afraid of our fears instead of allowing them to make us fierce and like standing up and being strong and saying, I say F you a lot, so but I won't say that here. And I just go, you know what?
Whatever works for you. Whatever works for you. And I think it's so important for us to be authentically ourselves. That's part of like the mindset shift. So people aren't afraid to like fully express themselves. And I think in the past, we've been so bottled up so tightly. And now as the younger generation is expressing themselves, we're learning as an older generation, like, I need to express myself too. I can say what I want to say. I can look how I want to look. And I think that's very liberating.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, for those of you who are just joining us, this is Koya Webb, and I'm Liz Dawn. I am the CEO and co-founder of Celebrate Your Life events, and all of you on my pages know that, but you probably don't know who I am if you're on Koya's page. And we create these amazing conferences with all of these wonderful spiritual luminaries and teachers. And I am so proud to introduce Koya to our program in Scottsdale. She's one of our newest faces that will be joining us for the Celebrate Your Life Scottsdale event at the end of October. And we'll talk a little bit about that as we get into our conversation. But one of the things I really, really love about your book title and everything that's in it is letting your fears making you fierce. So is there some type of a process that when you're working with people that you kind of guide them through to like let go of those fears, not even let go of those fears, but to be able to move through it?
Absolutely. And
I'd love you to talk to that.
absolutely. The first step is just to acknowledge them, acknowledge our fears. And if you don't want to call it fear, you can acknowledge your challenges, acknowledge your triggers. So, right now, if you're joining, I'm going to give you a ton of takeaways. So, you might as well just grab a paper, a pen, grab the notes on your phone, and just start taking notes. Because if you come to this, it's going to be many takeaways. Like, that's one of my gifts. I like to give actionable, bite-sized takeaways so that you leave feeling empowered. And so the first thing you want to write down, the first step to letting your fears make you fierce is acknowledging your fears. And again, I've learned that some people don't even like to call it. They're like, well, I'm not afraid, but I'm really triggered by that. Okay, let's acknowledge our triggers. I'm not really triggered, but I'm challenged by that. Okay, let's acknowledge your challenge. Same thing. Right? To me, it's the same energy of something that is holding you back from your fullest and greatest expression. So let's acknowledge our fears, our triggers, our challenges, or whatever word you want to call it that makes you feel great. We want to acknowledge the places that we feel stuck. Like, okay, I don't have a trigger or a challenge or a fear, but I feel a little stuck. Okay, cool. That's where we start. That is the beginning, is acknowledgement. If we can acknowledge the places where we're challenged or we feel like we need help or support, that is the only way we can energetically shift the vibration so that we can level up and we can go to the next level in that area. So the first step is just acknowledge it. So if you're here, like I said, you're getting this free session, then really what are your fears? What are your challenges? What are your triggers? A trigger might have popped up yesterday. Like for me, I know it did. Like I had a transition in my team and I'm like, That's triggering. That was so
Yes. I love that you say that because when people say fear, they go, "Oh, I don't have any fears. I don't have
yeah.
any." But if we kind of rephrase it as triggers or challenges, how many? Drop a yes in the comment if you can relate to what Koya is saying in terms of whether it could be called fear, trigger, or challenge. How many of you have a fear, trigger, or challenge? Could be this big. It could be really big. Go ahead and drop a yes in the comments if you're following us in this conversation. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Well, I know I do. And I always like to share personal stories, and especially ones that are right now. Cause you go like, oh yeah, I got injured running track and field. I found yoga. Everyone's heard that story. Or even if you knew, you can look it up on social media or the website, right? But I like to talk in real time because no matter how much meditation, yoga, breath work, all the things that I'm going to teach at the retreat that I'm going to talk about, or the conference that I'm going to talk about, you still going to get triggers, challenges, fears, things like that are still going to come up. So what I do as soon as I feel anything outside of love, the first thing that I do is say, okay, this made me feel this way. And one of the biggest things that I'm going to teach you, besides acknowledging them, is really sharing how did that trigger, challenge, setback, how did it make you feel? Right? That's the first part of transformational letter writing. So one thing you're going to learn, you're going to do there. We don't have time to do it today, but I'm going to tell you about it. But it's called transformational letter writing. This has absolutely changed my life. It's something that I learned when I got my breathwork certification that I do in conjunction with breathwork, which we will be doing at the conference. And I'm going to take you through the whole practice of breathwork and energy healing and transformational letter writing because you're going to energetically feel the shift. But the first part of it is just saying, this is what challenged me and this is how it made me feel. So for me, it's like it challenged me that this person came into my company so quickly, had a couple things that didn't set right or they didn't understand. And that quickly was like, this is not for me. When I said when things don't align, they don't align. But it was frustrating to me because we didn't do a clear the air. We didn't have a meeting. When we did after the fact, everything made sense. It was like, oh, that's what you meant, or this is what's going on with this person, and it was things that could have been talked. So it was triggering. I was so frustrated, especially as a small business owner. It's a lot to pay somebody for a month and then they don't work out. I was triggered. I was frustrated. So I wasn't in fear. I was just triggered. And so how did I deal with it? I said, this made me feel unappreciated. This made me feel disposable. This made me like I just listed like all the ways it made me feel. And I felt lighter because it's not in me. When things happen to us, we take on those feelings. And if y'all haven't read the book, I highly suggest reading the book, The Body Keeps Score, because you might think you're fine. But if you don't acknowledge when you're triggered, if you don't acknowledge your challenge, guess what? Your body knows it. And you might set that little frustration, that little trigger inside and wonder, why does my stomach hurt? Why do I have this feeling in my gut? Why is my digestion funny?
Oh, wait, I have to write this book down. It's called The Body Keeps
The
Score.
Body Keeps Score. And it really explains the energetics of our emotions. Emotions are just energy in motion. And when we pay attention to our emotions, we are not our emotions. So if I have the feeling of being angry, I'm not an angry person. I just felt angry. And when you can really address and acknowledge those energies and emotions, you can actually keep your vibration higher versus what we sometimes do, spiritually bypassing. Oh, I'm fine. It didn't bother me. Oh, whatever. Forget that person. Yeah, but how did it make you feel? Can we acknowledge? Because when you acknowledge, you set healthy boundaries so that doesn't happen again, right? Because it might be something of you just letting it go, and the universe needs you to get this lesson in order to go to the next step in your life. So when we have those triggers, I challenge people to acknowledge them and really let yourself know, journal how it made you feel.
Oh, that's excellent. And then once you do that and you know how you feel, there is something extremely cathartic because I've actually tried something like this before.
Yeah.
And it's really cathartic because you feel a little bit lighter. You've gotten it out on paper and you're not taking this trigger out on another human being.
Exactly. Absolutely. In the conference, we're going to actually do breath work, which I do every day. And I do a longer session whenever I'm working with a challenge. But in the conference, we're actually going to write down all the ways we feel how it made us feel. And then we're going to do breath work together. And so breath work, the type that I teach and I'm certified in, is called holotropic breath work. You guys can look that up, holotropic breath work. And so it sounds like this. Right? What does that sound like?
Or your heartbeat, right?
Sounds like crying, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is our way to self-soothe.
Oh,
When we were babies, uh, we self-soothe all the time, and that will release our trauma of not getting fed or not being comfortable. But when we get adults, how do we self-soothe other than alcohol and cigarettes and things that are not good for us?
right,
So, what
right.
I learned in my breathwork class is that when you self-soothe with breath, which is our only free tool we all have access to, from the moment we enter this human experience until the moment we leave, we all have the breath and the power of breath. So, this process of breath work, it actually helps you self-soothe, deal with the thing coming up, deal with the feelings, and remove them from your body via the breath. Right. So we do this breath work pattern. We bring up the trigger. We bring, because sometimes you're like, I don't even want to deal with it. Actually, yeah, it did hurt me. It triggered me. I just want to forget about it. But the
Mhm.
body's keeping score. And it's still in your energetic field and it's affecting all your other relationships. Maybe it's affecting your career. Maybe it's really physically affecting you. But our goal at this conference during this session is to remove that block, remove that energy block so that you can fully express. So we'll go through the breath work. I do my energy work, that I used to hate being an empath, but it's like you're highly sensitive, so you can feel the energy moving in other people. So you can feel when people upset, angry, and you can tell and you can energetically help them move and shift that energy. So I'll be there holding space for you as you process. And then after we go through the breath work, then we're going to go back to the transformational letter writing and you're going to give yourself the apology you deserve. Because sometimes we're in bad relationships, work relationships, and people are not going to say, I'm sorry. People are not going to care about your feelings. Or maybe it's the government. Maybe you're like over the systems of oppression. You're over the climate change and global warming. You're over it. And you're like, everybody in my life is cool, but this government, the way this world is went, you can write a letter to that too. And
This
so
is
it,
so beautiful.
yeah,
When you did that, when you finally said the baby crying, the crying, it's like, oh yeah.
yeah, babies are intelligent.
Oh, they come in with all the wisdom and all the, oh yes, absolutely.
Right? And we're
Absolutely.
learning from them, especially with natural things. When they fall, they get
Mhm.
back up. When they fall, they get back up. When they fall, there's so many people listening right now that are depressed and they're like, I don't know if I can get back up. Well, the world is depending on you to get back up, and you can get back up. Sometimes we fall so many times that we forget how to get back up, but that's why you need help. What do we do with babies? We help them back up. So that's what my job is, help you back up so you can keep walking. You might fall again, help you back up. And we're not meant to do life alone. As we all be having individual experience, we're meant to help each other back up, to light
Support.
each other's fire.
Right. This is so amazing because you're really guiding people in order to be able to let go and heal. I don't want to use the word let go because that's used so often, but really to heal those places inside of ourselves that have been wounded, that have been, not resolved, that haven't been dealt with in a way that really has honored the body, that really has honored our mind, body, and spirit. And I apologize for all those dinging. Can you hear those dinging noises?
Yeah.
Facebook is telling me I need to go live. And I'm standing here and I am live with you. So I don't know why.
Live for 14 minutes.
I just keep saying it's live. You need to go live. This is so beautiful. Oh, Veroshka is in South Africa. Is that where you are? I feel like you're in South Africa. And she is saying she's watching from South Africa, which I think is beautiful. I don't know if you can see the comments, Koya, but she is saying this is so beautiful. Thank you.
Oh,
Oh,
I
so
love it. Thank you. I love your name too. That's beautiful.
Veroshka. Yes. I think that this is going to be so extraordinary, and I'm going to have my staff like take care of the event so I can sneak in and be in your workshop because I am so totally and completely intrigued by everything that you're sharing. I
Thank you.
really am. Because I
I just
think,
did it at Savannah, like a similar container of breath work and energy healing. And when I tell you, every single person in the room released and let go. I mean, it was powerful. People that they were like, I wasn't even expecting that. I'm like, that's the magic of energy work. That's the magic of using your breath. And then once you get it, you can use it again and again. You don't need me. I just assist, but it's like training wheels. Once you start getting, you could do it on your own and you'll notice, oh my God, I feel so much better energetically. I have much more clarity. I'm not held down by my challenges, my triggers, and my blocks.
oh, yes, I
Yeah.
love that. As Lisa Nichols would say, yes, yes.
Yes, yes. I love Lisa Nichols. She's incredible.
I know you do. We've talked about her. I love Lisa. So
Yeah,
again, it's allowing your fears to make you fierce, to make you stronger, to make you step into a place of courage.
exactly. And fierceness to me is just in alignment with love. It's really just in alignment with love. But sometimes we feel so defeated, we don't feel fierce. And so instead of saying in alignment with love, which some people just take for granted because it's so used, it's like fierce. Because you have to think a little bit fiercely in order to overcome some of these challenges. Some of these challenges are fierce. And sometimes when we think of love, we don't think of love as being fierce, but it is. It is a fierce love, the love that the divine has for us, the love that we have for each other, especially when we hear challenges. It's a fierce love. It's not a playful love. To move the energy out of someone that's been harmed or experiencing depression or is experiencing just like anxiety. It's a fierce love. It's going to take a fierce love of not letting you give up on yourself. You
It's
know,
like that love. I'm not a mom to two-legged children, but I'm a mom to a four-legged child, right? But it's like that fierce love you would have for a child, I would imagine. That's what that feels like.
absolutely.
I have this love for my company in that way, for Mishka Productions and Celebrate Your Life events. And it's like if anybody messes with it or disparages it, I feel that love, that like, not in my house.
Exactly. And that's what anyone feels up for something you're passionate about. And a lot of people feel like this for others, but they don't feel like this for
For
themselves.
themselves.
Right. And even if they try to feel it from themselves, they're so not used to it and they don't have that support. And those are the people that I'm speaking to. Those are the people that I want to support. Those ones that support everybody else and they support themselves last, or they really just don't know how to begin loving themselves and really dealing with some of the unconscious, energy that's holding them back. A lot of people are not even aware of it until they take the class and they're like, oh my goodness, actually, when I think about it, this is really pissing me off.
Well, even just you explaining the way the process works, I mean, I can just feel it in my body
Yeah.
how like transformational that's going to be. I mean, I can feel it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so let me do just a quick commercial break. So I want you all to know that Koya is going to be joining us for the Celebrate Your Life conference in Scottsdale, Arizona on October 28th through the 30th. And it is going to be an amazing, amazing program. This is Koya's first time ever, yay, at a Celebrate Your Life event. And the event also features some amazing spiritual luminaries alongside Koya with Gabrielle Bernstein. She is one of Oprah's favorite coaches and teachers. We've also got Michael Beckwith, and you all, of course, if you're tuning in here, you know who Michael Beckwith is, right? We all know what Michael Beckwith.
We all know Michael Webb. We all know Reverend
How
Beckwith.
could you not know Michael
He's
Beckwith, right?
incredible. I
Same
love
thing
him.
with Neil Donald Walsh. If you're
Oh,
tuning in, you know who Neil Donald Walsh is, who wrote all the Conversations with God series, and world-renowned spiritual medium Lisa Williams, healer Emmanuel Dagger. So if you've never heard of Celebrate Your Life before, it is a gathering of what I consider all of the greatest spiritual luminaries and visionaries and thought leaders of our time gathered together in this beautiful cocoon of love and peace and joy and harmony for this amazing 3-day event. And people travel from all over the world to attend. So if it's feasible for you, come and join us. The website is celebrateyourlife.com /Scottsdale 22. or even if you just go to our website at celebrateyourlife.com, and I hope you'll join us because Koya is going to be there.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to hear some of the other people there as well. I mean, these are luminaries are leading the way in the world. And as I said before, we all need each other. And the more we're part of like the supportive community and we have these mentors in our lives, the more that we can get through the most challenging times.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for doing this. This was such a blessing. I want you to stick around for a couple of minutes, but we're going to just thank everybody for being here. And if you are just joining us, we've got Koya Webb, who's going to be with us at the Celebrate Your Life event in Scottsdale, the end of October. You can come on over and meet her in person. People are flying in from all over the world. We still have rooms at the hotel available. So that actually is getting kind of scarce. So you want to make your reservations quickly. And just go to celebrateyourlife.com and it's on the homepage. You can just click on the Scottsdale event at celebrateyourlife.com. Can't wait. Yay, Teresa's going to be there and Kathy's going to be there. Woohoo! Excellent, excellent.
There.
All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us. Mwah! And we shall see you soon.
Thank you.